So the current generation of Kennedy half dollars, the newer ones, have been probably some of the most saddest attempts at a U.S. Mint offering in quite some time. To be quite honest, it's been such a sad sack of a series that probably its time has long gone and passed about 15, 20 years ago. But we're going to talk about it today because there's been a lot of folks through the emails and through comments in previous videos that are talking about what we consider to be not intended for circulation Kennedy half dollars and I guess its place in the coin hobby, which there isn't too much of a presence in numismatics for these coins anymore. Rarely do you see them in circulation, and I think it would be more of an inconvenience if you were a retailer to be able to accept the 50-cent piece into your cash register. I think the biggest problem is when they go to float the register back to $150 at the end of the night, you're like, what am I going to do with all this stuff? All these half dollars that seemingly just are an inconvenience to every cash register person on the face of the earth. But I guess it really helps to see the point in these being in existence. You know, the casinos need them. The blackjack tables need them, you know, to pay out their funky wonky, you know, odds and all that for getting a blackjack or something to that effect. You know, but aside from that, there's really not a whole lot of use. You know, slot machines don't even take coins for the most part. There's probably very few casinos that actually take physical coins. And I would say that outside of that, there's really no other justifiable use for the half dollar in society today. But, however, we are going to talk about these coins. Is it worth it to even keep them? Because I know half dollar hunting for silver is a pretty big deal today, especially with the popularity of trying to find physical silver, which has been very difficult for a lot of folks on not only the dealer side, but also the stacker side. Aside from that, these things are in low enough mintage that it really is smoke and mirrors. You know, really, you come across one in a roll, you're kind of undecided of whether or not you should hold on to it or just pitch that thing away. I mean, it really, really, really is kind of like people do lose sleep over it. Trust me. There's a point in time back in the mid 2000s that I was very undecided on whether or not I wanted to keep this. But to kind of like lay it out for you, these coins have stopped being made for circulation. That's why they call them NIFCs. Since 2002. Now, some of the more scarce coins in this NIFC program comes from those earlier dates, 2002, 2003, so on, in which less than 3 million of each mint mark were ever produced. So with those kind of like data points out there for collectors and coin roll hunters, it would seem like it would be a good idea to pull these coins out and hold on to them. Now, that might still be the case today, especially for the earlier dates. You know, from 2002 to about 2008, it might be worthwhile to keep these aside. But there is also that extra element to all of this when it comes to the determination of value is grade. After 13 plus years of NIFCs being in rolls and being shooken around and thrown about and all that great stuff, what kind of condition state do these coins possess? You know, after 13 years of just grueling, you know, whatever, because they don't circulate, but a lot of them get shuffled in the mix. You know, roll hunters will go through them, they'll throw them aside, and that's it. So I think the earlier dates of the NIFC coins have a little bit to offer in terms of value, all right? But these are even still being made today. As a matter of fact, there are other NIFC coins other than the half dollar. We're going to look at this US Mint profile right here. They actually have the 2021s available for sale, I guess, as of what, today or yesterday? May 11th, whenever that is. I think it was yesterday. But the presidential dollar series, the last few years of it, were NIFCs because they just went out of favor with the collecting public. Nobody cared about them anymore. It was a very long, drawn-out series. It was very exhausting. The designs were marginal at best. I mean, you guys, I can't speak for everyone, but I think a lot of people would agree that the presidential dollar series has been some of the most lackluster designs coming from the mint in recent memory. But the half dollars are right there. In spite of the fact that Kennedy is more of a popular political figure, and probably more so a figure of like the movie scene, you know, with his affairs with Marilyn Monroe and whoever else that existed during that time. But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. Now, these were only produced in Philadelphia and Denver, and for the longest time, since the U.S. Mint had decided to put the kibosh on the program and made this a collector-specific program, you could buy them from the Mint in bag form or roll form. Now, getting them in bags would be just a horrible idea if you were a collector, because these coins do shift around and they make noise and all that. I actually had something like this only with the S Mint America the Beautiful Quarter. It's one of the earlier ones. I think it was Hawaii that I had ordered and it got stolen. You know, the U.S. Mint does a piss poor job at protecting things like this. They just throw in a box with a little bit of packaging in there, but if it still sounds like money, believe you me, someone will take it. No doubt about it. But these coins are still being produced today. And believe it or not, the mintages are far more higher than they were 18, 19 years ago. These newer coins, and we'll use 2020 as an example, 6.5 million of each of the P&D coins of the NIFCs were produced, which is quite a bit, considering that the last time that the U.S. Mint had produced any Kennedy half dollars for circulation was 2001. And I believe, if my memory serves me, there was somewhere between like 21 and 22 million pieces of both the Philadelphia and the Denver's, respectively, that were produced and sent out. And at that time, people were definitely not loving this coin, just because overall its size and you know, the internet age was coming to be, so there was a lot less need to carry these things around, and casinos were converting to raw coin machines to ticket-based at this time. But as you can see right here, there is a pretty substantial premium for what you're getting to buy one of these bags. So a $100 face bag will cost you $147. No, I do not need help, U.S. Mint people. Thank you. $147 plus shipping. So you will have paid 1.5 times face value for a $100 bag of these half dollars that will never enhance in value, especially the newer ones. Some would make the argument that if you had a bag of 2002, 3, 4, or 5, those would be worthwhile getting if they were like the same price. Good luck with that. But these coins are available in $100 face bags, and they are also available in 2 roll sets. So I believe these are P&D rolls. They're $10 face per. So that's $20 face that you were buying essentially for $34.50 plus shipping. Call it like it is, $40. So double face value for the rolls. And a lot of people who come across these will ultimately ask themselves, why? I ask myself that all the time. Every time I see these, why would I take the time and pay double up face value for these coins that's end up in circulation? Okay, you know how I know? Because a lot of people, myself included, that come across these Kennedy half rolls continue to see brand new NIFCs in circulation. Okay, that means it's a very loveless series to begin with. So, with that being said, I mean, it's like you're throwing away good money after bad on this program that, in hindsight, should have gone away a long time ago. But there you go. That's kind of like the backstory on the whole NIFC. All right, and I'm sure a lot of you have saved these up, trying to decide, ooh, should I sell these by the roll? You know, I have a whole bunch of them. I got like 5,000 of them. and I don't know what to do with it. And I see it all the time on Discord and Facebook and all that stuff. This is kind of like it's a hot topic when someone brings it up. Like, you know, I got 500 NIFCs and I don't know what to do with them. Well, when that comes up and someone says, I don't know what to do with them, that's when you know that there is no credible kind of way to make money or profit off of the NIFC coins. Now, in the recent past, probably 8-9 years ago, I had mentioned, you know, you guys probably save these. But by then, you know, the mintages on even some of those later 2000s, like 08, 09, and 2010 coins, were actually still worth pulling because the mintages were, you know, 3 million, somewhere thereabouts. But now we're talking about coins within the last 5-6 years that have eclipsed 5 million of each the Philadelphia and Denver minted coins produced. There's really not a whole lot of favorable kind of like selling point to even keep these, especially the newer ones. And besides, some of those older NIFCs that have jostled around and have circulated, I guess, in some respect, they're only worth something if they're in mint state condition, not AU or mint state 61 or anything like that. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look how much these coins are selling for. You know, you could go out and buy last year's coins. I put in 2020 as an example for $5. But as you can see, this is just a live listing and we don't know if someone sold that. So as you can see, a couple bucks a piece. If you absolutely need it. Okay, and when I mean need it is if you need it for an album or a typeset or whatever the case may be, you know, that's where the ultimate need comes in. But in terms of what has been sold out there, it's pretty sad. And we're just going to kind of breeze through it here. Let's see. So here's a P&D set that sold for $4.20. Now, you can't tell me that you could sell a whole bunch of these and make a ton of profit to where it's worthwhile to sit there, fumble with envelopes and shipping labels and, you know, taking precious time out of your day to sell stuff like this. Here's a complete set of 2002 to 2020 P&D NFC, not for circulation coins. It's an AU circulated set that sold for $60. That is insane. And again, when you look at how much you are buying each coin for, nowhere does it say that it would be a worthwhile investment. As a matter of fact, it shouldn't even be called in an investment to begin with, just based off of how low of a price these things go for. But you could see singular coins, $1.95 here for a Denver. Here's a P&D for $3. I mean, we're really, really grasping at straws here to make it work. I mean, there's unusual coins like this struck through Greece example that probably sold for just under $10, I would imagine. But it's free shipping. But as you can see, the coins themselves, you know, are like $2 to $3, and P&D sets are about $3. So there's not a lot of profit, and if the only reason why you would sell something like this is to kind of improve your feedback rating by selling these because they're cheap enough that they're easy to ship and transport, then by all means do it. But as far as the investability of such coins, they are not a worthwhile thing. So I put in 2020. What I really want to do is see lots. And I think if I typed in NIFC Kennedy, let's say lot, I don't know if that'll pull anything up. 20 different coins for $24.99 plus $5 shipping, and that's from 2002 to 2019, $half special, and they're all different. Looks like a set. I'm not sure. 20 different NIFCs, which is $10 face. This one sold for about $19.40. Here's a group of 20, which, you know, I mean, I guess in the perfect world, you can double up your money, but God, the fees and the shipping will eat the profits alive. You know, I mean, unless you're okay with making $3 per pop transaction wise, why would anyone go through the trouble of selling probably some of the most useless coins in circulation today is beyond me. But there you go. That is simply just, that's all the numbers, ladies and gentlemen. That is hard concrete evidence staring at you right in your face. You can sell them for money. I mean, there is that. And if it came down to it, I mean, you could either do one of two things. You could roll them all up, put them back in the bank. That's going to be like the easiest direction to getting money in your pocket, I suppose. I mean, it is money. It's a monetary instrument. Or you could take them to a coin dealer. They probably will either take them or they won't. I mean, that's really up for debate at this point. This one here is for 5 rolls plus of NIFCs from 05 to 2010. Now, that's respectable. If you have an amount that is worth selling, you might be able to do something like that. And then after fees and shipping, you'll probably end up making roughly about $35-40. I mean, I guess there are worse things that could happen, but that is certainly respectable. Here's another $50 lot here of 2018s that sold for some sort of amount of money that we don't know. Yeah, here's more lots. There's a lot of 40, which 36 at 40. I don't know what that is. 4 times 7, 28. 34? I don't know. But as you can see, there you go. That's kind of like proof in the pudding. Am I going to say that you are going to be rich selling these? No. Is it worthwhile pulling them out of change or bankrolls? Probably, but as you can see, where you're going to feel like you're winning in this flipping transaction is going to be when you have actual quantity of these things. Am I right? Is it worthwhile to sell 1 or 2 of them at a time? No, probably not. But if you had these in quantity, it'll show a much better representative look at profit. When you could double up $50 face and turn it into $100. I mean, that sounds a whole heck of a lot better, but you can't really get rich off this. It's supplemental. If you go through enough candy half dollars, then yeah, it's going to be something that you can do okay on. But it's not the best US Mint product. Now, the US Mint will continue to crank these out as long as people buy them. As you guys see, the mintages continue to go up on these, so that means that there is some interest. Hip hip hooray, some interest there in that regards. But considering that I would never pay the US Mint to buy these in the first place, because just the amount of money that it takes to buy $100 face is just so expensive that it wouldn't be worth it in the end. Now, these are something that, again, if you're an avid roll hunter, go for it. Search them out, keep them aside. It'll be another way for you to make an extra amount of money off of your $50 boxes. And I've actually have heard and witnessed some folks opening up full $500 bank boxes of nothing but NIFC coins. Generally, they're all one date. So before we get off today's video, some people have asked, where do these coins come from that come up in $50 rolls? Are they put there that by people that bought a whole bunch of these over the years? Or is it something that the US Mint is indeed seeding out into circulation, even though they are not made for circulation? And the answer to the question, can be a little bit convoluted, a little bit complex. I don't know exactly why these even show up in circulation, because there are some like 2020s that show up in circulation, and that's very puzzling or perplexing, is to see some of that. Now, there are groups of people that go out of their way to buy things like this and the NIFC dollar coins and then intentionally seed them out into circulation. as a way to kind of show that there is a little collectible that can be found out there that not a lot of people have seen or come across. And then there might be that, kind of some feel good special interest group of sorts that's in the numismatic community. I mean, I've also done that when the ANA launches their national, treasure hunt program, where people and dealers and collectors, they throw out buffalo nickels and silver dimes and things like that, to get awareness out there for collectors and stackers. So yeah, that could be the case as well. This is probably excellent cannon fodder, I guess, for a program of that type. But it wouldn't be out of the question to hear about these type of folks doing that and seeding, coins that aren't generally in circulation out there for the taking. But anyways, I wanted to go ahead and address that. Oh, by the way, as far as grading these, it's completely up to you. They would have to grade Mint State 68 and higher for it to be worth it. Again, that's really tough considering that these things are made. They're not white gloved at the US Mint. They're thrown in a bag and they're shipped off in the bag with them moving and shifting around, and you get bag marks and stuff. I haven't seen a super clean NIFC where I could confidently say, yeah, this is a Mint State 68. And even still, those coins are like $60. So by the time you factor in grading fees and submission stuff, it's probably not worth it. But anyways, that's my 2 cents on this 50-cent piece. Hopefully you guys got a little takeaway from it. Sorry to keep it so long and drawn out, but man, this thing is quite the subject right here. So I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Thank you guys for joining in on this video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Hit that bell for instant notifications. And until next time, Coinaholics, we are discovering together. You guys take care. Have a good hunt, and I'll see you next time.